Did you pick up my prescription? Simple question, right? The kind of question that should get a simple answer. Yes, no, I forgot. But not this, not what came next. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. We used that money for Chloe's camera. No pause, no hesitation, not even a glance in my direction. Just said. Like it didn't matter, like I didn't matter. Have you ever had a moment where everything feels normal and then suddenly it isn't? That's what this felt like. I was sitting at the dinner table, halfway through eating, fork still in my hand. The kind of ordinary moment you don't think twice about. Plates clinking, the hum of the fridge in the background. Chloe scrolling through her phone, probably checking comments on her latest post. Ari, and then that sentence landed. We used that money for Chloe's camera. I didn't react right away. That's the strange part. I didn't yell, didn't cry, didn't even blink. I just stopped. Across from me, my dad, Richard, 45, kept eating like he'd just commented on the weather. Like this was a completely reasonable exchange. Next to him, my mom, Elaine, 43, didn't say anything either. Not yet. She just kept her eyes on her plate, like if she didn't look up, she wouldn't have to be part of it. And Chloe? She smiled. Actually smiled. It's for my future. 14 years old, confident, certain, like this decision made perfect sense. And maybe, to them, it did. I nodded slowly. Right. That was all I said. But inside, something was shifting. Because this wasn't just about money. It wasn't even really about the camera, when it was about what they chose, and what they didn't. I set my fork down carefully, not loud, not dramatic, just intentional. Then I asked the question they weren't expecting. So you didn't read the pharmacist's message? That's when things changed. My mom froze. Like, completely froze. Her hand stopped midair, fingers still curled around her fork. What message? Now my dad finally looked up. Not concerned, just confused. Yeah, I said, leaning back slightly in my chair. The one labeled urgent warning. Silence. The kind that creeps in slowly and then refuses to leave. My dad frowned. Warning? And here's the thing. Up until that moment, they thought this was a conversation about priorities, money, choices, maybe a little favoritism. They had no idea. They were already way past that. I looked at both of them. I really looked this time. Yeah. I let the pause stretch. Let it sit. Let it sink in. Then I said it. The one that said what happens if I miss a dose. And that's when it hit them. You could actually see it. My mom's hand started trembling. Not slightly, noticeably. Chloe's smile, gone. Just gone. Like it had never been there in the first place. And my dad, for the first time all night, he didn't have an immediate answer. The room felt smaller, tighter, like the walls were inching closer. No one moved, no one spoke, and I just sat there, watching it happen. Because now they were starting to understand, but they still didn't know everything, not even close. And the worst part? What they missed wasn't just one dose, it wasn't even two. I took a slow breath, and because what I was about to say next, that was the part that would change everything. What I was about to say next, that was the part you don't come back from. I reached into my hoodie pocket slowly. Not dramatic, not rushed, just controlled. Because here's the thing. When you've been ignored long enough, you learn how to make people listen. You stop raising your voice. You start choosing your moments. And this was mine. I pulled out a folded piece of paper and placed it on the table between us. No one touched it. Not yet. It just sat there. Heavy. Important. Dangerous in a way none of them fully understood. My dad looked at it first, then at me. What is that? I tilted my head slightly. You tell me. He didn't like that answer. I could see it in the way his jaw tightened, and the way his fingers flexed slightly against the table like he was deciding whether or not to engage. Finally, he reached for it, unfolded it, and everything slowed down. Have you ever watched someone read something and realize halfway through that they've made a mistake? A real one. Not a small one, not a fix it later kind of mistake. The kind that lingers, the kind that sticks, the kind that doesn't go away just because you want it to. That's what I saw on his face. His eyes scanned the page quickly at first, then slower, then stopped. What is this? He asked, but his voice had changed. Less certain, less controlled. My mom leaned closer. Richard, what does it say? He didn't answer right away. And that's when I knew. He'd found it. The highlighted section. The one they didn't read. Or didn't bother to. Or maybe didn't think applied to me. I leaned forward slightly, resting my elbows on the table. It's from the pharmacy, I said. Printed it this morning. My mom reached for the paper next, her movements less steady now. Her fingers brushed his as she took it, like she needed confirmation this was real. And as she read, I watched her face change. Confusion, recognition. Then something else. Something closer to fear. 10 days? She whispered. There it was. Out loud now. No more guessing. No more minimizing. 10 days. I nodded once. Yeah. The word sat there, heavy, final. Chloe shifted in her chair. I could hear it, the subtle scrape of wood against tile. For the first time all night, she didn't look confident. She looked unsure. That doesn't make sense, my dad said quickly, like he was trying to grab control of the situation before it slipped too far. You would have said something. I let out a small breath, not a laugh, not quite. I did. That stopped him, completely. Because now the conversation wasn't about whether something happened, it was about whether they chose to hear it. My mom looked up from the paper, her eyes sharper now. Maya, how many doses did you actually miss? I didn't answer right away. Instead, I reached back into my pocket again, and this time I pulled out something smaller. My phone. I unlocked it, tapped once, then twice, and turned it toward them. The screen lit up between us. Paused. Frozen on a single frame. A timestamp visible in the corner. My dad frowned. What am I looking at? I met his eyes. This, I said quietly. Yarm is what happens when I stop being a priority. Then I hit play. The video starts without warning. No build-up, no explanation, just movement. Grainy security footage from the hallway outside my bedroom. The timestamp glows in the corner, 3:12 a.m. At first, nothing happens. Just an empty hallway. Still, quiet. Then, my door opens, slowly, and I step out. But something's off. Even from a distance, you can tell. My balance isn't right. My hand drags along the wall like I need it just to stay upright. My steps are uneven. Too wide, then too short, like my body can't decide how to move. No one at the table says anything, not a single word. The only sound is the faint hum from the video itself. I let it play. You ever watch yourself and not recognize what you're seeing? That's what this felt like. Because I remember that night, but not like this. Not clearly, just fragments. A headache. A strange floating feeling. Like my thoughts were slipping through my fingers. On screen, I pause halfway down the hallway. Just stop. I turn slightly, like I've forgotten where I was going, or why I even left my room in the first place. My mom lets out a quiet, broken sound. Oh my God. But I don't look at her. I keep watching, because they need to see it. All of it. In the video, I take another step, and my knee buckles slightly. I catch myself on the wall. Barely. Barely. My dad shifts in his seat. Uncomfortable now. Not defensive, not dismissive. Just unsettled. Good. Because this isn't even the worst part. I pause the video, right at the moment where I almost fall. And the image freezes. My hand pressed flat against the wall. Head tilted slightly downward like I'm trying to steady something that isn't just physical. I look up. Still think it's just one dose? No one answers, because now they know it isn't. But they still don't understand how it got this far. And that's where it gets interesting. I reach over, take the paper from my mom's hands, and tap a specific section. You see this part? I ask. My dad leans in again, slower this time, more careful. Automated alerts sent, I read aloud. 3 times. I glance up. Recognize those? Silence. My mom's face tightens. I get a lot of notifications. Yeah, I cut in gently. You do? I slide my phone across the table again. Different screen this time. Messages. Unread, marked urgent. From the pharmacy. Time-stamped, stacked. Unignored. My dad exhales sharply through his nose. Why didn't you just come to me directly? That question hangs there for a second. Because it sounds reasonable. It almost is reasonable. Until you think about it. I tilt my head slightly. I did that too. And now they're running out of explanations. Chloe finally speaks, her voice quieter than before. But you seemed fine. I turn to her, really look at her, and for the first time there's no edge in my voice, just honesty. That's because I had to be. That lands differently, because it's not an accusation. It's a fact. I lean back in my chair again, folding my arms loosely. You don't notice something's wrong, I continue, when the person dealing with it makes sure you don't have to. No one argues that. No one can. The room feels heavier now, but not tense in the same way as before. This isn't confusion anymore. This is realization. Slow, uncomfortable, inescapable. But we're still not at the center of it. Not yet. Because everything they've seen so far, that was 3 days ago. I glance down at my phone again, then back up at them. There's more, I say. And this time, no one tries to stop me. There's more. That's the moment everything shifts from bad to something they can't ignore anymore. I don't give them time to ask questions. I just tap the screen again. Another video loads. Another timestamp. Last night, 11:47 p.m. Wait! My mom starts, but I've already hit play. The footage opens on the kitchen. Lights off except for the dim glow above the stove. Empty. Still, for a second, it almost feels like nothing's going to happen. Like maybe this one won't be as bad. But then, I enter the frame, and it's worse. Way worse. I'm slower this time. Not just unsteady, heavy. Like every step takes effort. My shoulder clips the edge of the counter as I walk past it. I don't even react, don't correct, just keep moving like I didn't feel it. Chloe inhales sharply. Oh my God. Yeah, now you're seeing it. I let the video run, no commentary, no explanation, because this part doesn't need it. I reach the middle of the kitchen, and then I stop, same as before. But this time, I don't catch myself. My knees give out, and I hit the floor, hard. The sound echoes faintly through the video. My mom gasps, covering her mouth with both hands now. My dad leans forward so fast his chair scrapes loudly against the floor. What the hell? But he doesn't finish. Because he's watching. Really watching now. On screen, I don't get up right away. I'm not unconscious, but I'm not okay. My hands press against the floor, trying to push myself up, but my arms shake. My head dips forward, then jerks slightly, like my body's trying to reset itself and failing. Seconds stretch. Too long. Way too long. And the worst part? No one comes, no footsteps, no voices, no doors opening upstairs. Just silence. I pause the video. Right there, with me still on the ground. And I look up slowly. You were both home. It's not a question. My dad's face tightens. Why didn't you call us? I don't answer right away. Instead, I rewind, a few seconds back. Then I turn the volume all the way up and hit play again. This time, you can hear it, faint, but clear enough. A soft knocking sound. And 3 times. Pause. 3 more. Then, my voice. Weak, slurred. Mom? It barely carries, but it's there. And upstairs? Nothing. No response, no movement, just quiet. I pause it again. Let that sit. Let that be the thing they can't unhear. My mom shakes her head slowly, like if she denies it hard enough, it'll change what just happened. I didn't hear you, she whispers. I believe her. That's the worst part, because this wasn't about cruelty. It was about something colder. Neglect, distraction, priorities. I push my phone forward slightly on the table. You didn't hear a lot of things. That lands harder than anything else I've said so far, because now it's not just about last night. It's about everything leading up to it. My dad runs a hand through his hair, pacing once behind his chair before stopping. Yeah, this doesn't make sense, he mutters. You should have told us it was getting this bad. There it is again. That assumption. That I stayed quiet. I look at him steadily. I did. And now there's nowhere left for that argument to go. Chloe speaks again, but her voice is smaller now, almost fragile. I thought you were just tired lately. I turn toward her, hold her gaze. And for a second, I consider letting it go, letting her keep that version of things. But no, not anymore. That's the problem, I say quietly. You thought. Silence. Heavy. Thick. Unavoidable. I sit back slowly, folding my hands in my lap. Controlled again. Calm again. But now, they're the ones unraveling. And we're still not at the end, because there's one part of this, one detail, they haven't fully processed yet. And I reach forward and tap the paper again. Lower this time, near the bottom. The part you skipped, I say. My dad hesitates. My mom doesn't move. So I slide it closer to them. Closer until they don't have a choice but to look. Go ahead, I say softly, and this time, they read it. The part you skipped. Those 4 words don't sound like much, but they land heavier than everything that came before. Because now, there's nowhere left to hide. No more assumptions. No more we didn't know. No more pretending this was just a misunderstanding. My dad looks at the paper again, but slower this time. Careful, like he already knows whatever's down there is going to make this worse. My mom leans in beside him, her shoulder almost pressed against his, like she needs something solid to hold on to. And Chloe? Mine, she doesn't move at all. She just watches, waiting. The room is completely silent except for the faint rustle of paper. Then, my dad stops reading, not at the end, in the middle. His eyes lock on a single line. And don't move. What is it? My mom asks, her voice barely holding together. He doesn't answer, so she pulls the paper slightly toward herself and reads. Out loud this time. Unintentionally. After 72 hours without medication, risk of breakthrough seizure increases significantly. Her voice starts to shake. Extended absence may result in loss of consciousness, physical injury, or... She stops. But it's already too late. The words are out there now, hanging in the air. Unavoidable. My dad exhales slowly, but it's uneven. Controlled, but barely. That's worst-case scenario, he says. But even he doesn't sound convinced. I tilt my head slightly. Is it? That question lingers, because now they've seen the videos. They've seen what already started happening. So, what exactly counts as worst case anymore? I lean forward, resting my arms on the table. You missed the note at the bottom, I add. My mom looks down again, finds it, reads silently this time, and whatever she sees, it breaks something, completely. Her hand flies to her mouth again, but this time it doesn't stop the reaction. A small choked sound escapes anyway. Richard, that's all she says. Just his name, but it's enough. He takes the paper back, reads the final section, and his face. It changes. Not confusion, not defensiveness, recognition, the kind that hits all at once. Not patient reported early symptoms during follow-up attempt, he reads quietly. Unable to reach guardians. The words sit there, cold, clinical, final. I watch them process it, piece by piece, because now the timeline is clear. Not just what happened, but when, and how many chances they had to stop it. The pharmacy didn't just send alerts, they called. More than once, marked it urgent, flagged it, and I answered when I could, told them what was happening, tried to fix it before it got worse. But the people responsible for me didn't pick up, didn't check, didn't follow through. My dad lowers the paper slowly, like it weighs more now, like it means more now. You talk to them? He asks. I nod. Yeah? A pause, then quieter. And you didn't think to tell us that? That question, again. We're still clinging to the idea that this somehow circles back to me. I hold his gaze, steady, unshaken. I did tell you, I say. Then I let a beat pass, just long enough, before adding, You just didn't listen. That's the moment it lands fully. Not partially. Not defensively filtered. Completely. My mom sinks back into her chair like something just gave out beneath her. Chloe looks down at the table, her hands clasped tightly together now, knuckles pale. And my dad, he doesn't speak, because there's nothing left to argue, nothing left to explain away. Just the reality of it. Clear, undeniable, and already in motion. I sit back again, calmer than all of them, because I've already been living with this. They're just catching up. But here's the thing. Understanding what happened, that's only the first part. And because what comes next, that's the part they're not ready for. What comes next? It doesn't explode. It doesn't turn into shouting or chaos or some dramatic breakdown. It's quieter than that. Heavier. The kind of silence that settles in after something irreversible has already happened. My dad is the first to move. Not speak, move. He pushes his chair back slowly like he's forgotten how fast things are supposed to happen. Like his body's trying to catch up to everything his mind just realized. We're going, he says. Simple, direct. But his voice? It's different now. Not authoritative, not dismissive, urgent. Finally. My mom stands almost immediately, already reaching for her keys, her hands still shaking. Get your shoes, Maya. We're not waiting. I nod once. Because this part isn't a fight. And this is just necessary. Immediate consequences. The hospital is bright in a way that feels artificial. Too clean, too controlled, too late. They move quickly once they hear the words missed medication and neurological condition in the same sentence. Questions come fast. How many doses missed? When did symptoms begin? Why wasn't this addressed sooner? That last one hangs a little longer than the others. My parents answer what they can, avoid what they can't. I don't help them. I just sit there, letting the facts speak for themselves. Tests, monitoring, observations. By the time it's over, the conclusion is clear. I'm stable, but not unaffected. Breakthrough seizure activity, the doctor explains. You were very close to something more severe. Very close. That phrase repeats in my head longer than anything else. Because now it has shape, weight, reality. They adjust my dosage, restart everything carefully, put safeguards in place. And then they ask questions again. Not just medical this time, procedural, structured. A nurse steps aside with my parents, a different tone, quieter, more deliberate. Words like oversight and follow-up and eventually mandatory reporting. Logical payoff, what actually happened. Here's the full truth, laid out clean. My prescription ran out 10 days ago. The pharmacy sent 3 automated alerts. They placed 2 direct calls, both marked urgent. A pharmacist documented early symptoms during a follow-up call with me. They attempted to contact my parents. No response. At the same time, the money set aside for my refill was used. For Chloe's camera. Not accidentally. Not unknowingly. Deliberately redirected. Not because they thought I'd be fine, but because they didn't fully process that I wouldn't be. That's what this was. Not confusion, not ignorance. A decision. And a failure to follow through on everything that came after it. Emotional payoff. We get home late. No one talks during the drive. Not a single word. And for once, I don't feel the need to fill that silence. Inside the house, everything looks the same. Same furniture, same lighting, same walls. But it doesn't feel the same. My mom hovers near me, unsure what to do with her hands, her voice, her presence. Do you need anything? She asks. I shake my head. I'm fine. And I mean it. But not in the way she hopes. My dad stands near the kitchen counter, one staring at nothing in particular. He looks like he wants to say something, explain, fix it. But there's no version of this conversation where that works. Chloe lingers near the hallway. Quiet, smaller than I've ever seen her. I didn't know, she says finally. I look at her, and I believe her. I know, I reply. And that's the truth. That's what makes it complicated. No one here set out to hurt me, but they did. And intention doesn't change the outcome. Consequence payoff critical. Things don't reset, they shift, immediately and permanently. 1. Medical autonomy changes. Before, my parents managed everything. Now, that stops. I get direct pharmacy alerts to my own phone. I track my doses independently. The doctor speaks to me first, not them, not symbolic, structural. 2. External oversight. Within days, a caseworker contacts us, not aggressive, not accusatory, but present. There are questions, check-ins, documentation. Because medically, this crossed a line. Not dramatic enough for headlines, but serious enough to be recorded. 3. Financial correction. The camera goes back. No debate, no delay. The refund covers my medication follow-up appointments, emergency visit costs. It's practical, necessary, and quietly devastating for Chloe, not because of the camera itself, but because of what it now represents. 4. Family dynamic fracture. My dad becomes quieter, measured, careful with every decision now, but noticeably too late. My mom overcompensates. Constant reminders, check-ins. Hovering that feels less like care and more like guilt. Chloe withdraws. Less confident, less certain. Her future suddenly not as untouchable as it used to feel. And me? I stopped depending on them, not emotionally, logistically. Long-term shift weeks pass, and something subtle but important changes. I get a part-time job, nothing huge, just enough. Enough to cover small things. Enough to build something that's mine. I coordinate directly with the pharmacy, set reminders, backups, fail-safes. Because now I understand something clearly. Relying on someone who isn't paying attention is a risk I can't afford. Final resolution moment. A few weeks later, we're back at the same table. Same seats, same routine. Dinner. But the energy? Different. Quieter, more aware. My medication sits beside my plate. Not hidden, not forgotten, visible, accounted for. My mom glances at it. "Did you take it?" she asks. I nod. Yeah, no hesitation, no uncertainty. My dad walks in, pauses briefly when he sees me. Like he's checking, not controlling, just aware. Chloe stands in the doorway for a second. No camera in her hands, no performance, just presence. I pick up my fork again. Same motion as before. But this time, there's no interruption, no question hanging in the air, no uncertainty about what comes next. I take a bite and continue eating. Because now, everything that needs to be handled is handled, and everything that was ignored isn't anymore.